Hey guys, Ben Paynes here, and today we are back once again at Teamsport Bristol for another Monday night social. And today I just wanted to have a quick talk about the upcoming BIKC tournament that I have actually entered in with the middleweight category. Now, I've entered at middleweight because I am currently running at 81 kilograms and the bracket for a middleweight driver is between 75 and 90 kilograms, so I'm slap bang in the middle. And well, this is actually very annoying since I'm trying to lose a little bit more weight at the moment, as that is my main excuse for being a little bit slower by a few tenths, and I really want to try and lose the weight so I can try and get some faster lap times. But before we get on into the video, as the first lap we perform is at 83.106, I'd just like to say, if you do enjoy the video, please could you hit the subscribe button and like as well, as it really does support me and it helps me and motivates me to make more videos down at the track. This is something that has really interested me since I started karting at the beginning of the year in January, as I really do enjoy and relish in competitive situations and the competition in line with others, and I really want to give it my all and try my best and see how far I can get really. The BIKC is open to the elite members at Teamsport, and as I'm one of them, I really think that I just want to give it a go and try and get involved, seeing as it is free to enter, and I just want to see how well I can do against some other drivers that have definitely competed before, and just see if I can hold my own against them, as that's why I've been coming on a Thursday as well to some of the more advanced sessions, really trying to compete with some of the better drivers and the faster drivers at the track, and really sort of advance my own driving techniques as I plan to move outside in the near future as well. So all in all, I feel like it will really benefit me to give it my best shot really. I say this as I do feel at the moment, with the lap times that I'm putting in Monday night socials, and also with the way I've been driving in the Thursday night after only 2 races, I really feel that I could really make an impact to make a dent on the championship. There's definitely a few drivers in the weight category that I've signed up for that are rather quick, and I really want to be able to challenge them by the end of the year, as that's something that I feel will really benefit me in the future. As I said, looking to go to outside, there will be drivers that are faster than me. There's always going to be someone that is faster than you, unless of course you are Lewis Hamilton. But there, in this session, however, I have just recorded my fastest lap of the session, which was a 37.615. I didn't actually manage to get a faster time at any point in the session, which I was a little bit disappointed with, and this was in fact the second session of the evening instead of the third, and I just wasn't able to find the time this week as there was a bit of traffic, and I was also not really finding the grip that I have been in the other weeks that I've been down at the track, and this meant I was sliding a little bit more than I was used to, and I wasn't really focusing on the climb throttle as well as I could, and this meant I was getting a bit distracted myself and getting a bit frustrated, and this caused me to have a few slower lap times. However, as mentioned previously, in terms of BIKC, it is a very simple process to actually sign up and apply to be a part of this free tournament essentially, and I was able to do it very easily on the Teamsport app, as I am an elite member, as I've said before, and all I did is literally go onto the app and select the track that I'm going to qualify at, which of course is Bristol, as I pretty much live here at the moment from the amount I come down. And once I was signed up and selected my weight category, it then came upon my license that you get as a Teamsport member, and in terms of qualifying times, I am able to try and get as high up the grid as I can for my weight category by visiting the track on 3 separate occasions, and my fastest lap for 3 sessions will then be averaged out, and whatever time that is will be my qualifying time. So say I come down on 5 different occasions, my 3 fastest times for those 5 different and separate evenings will then be averaged out. So say that I got a 37.6 3 times in a row, my qualifying time will be a 37.6 no matter how many times I come down, instead of getting a 38 or 39 second lap. So I'm really excited to get involved and try it out, and I hope some of you guys too as well, because it'll be nice to see a few of you really battling it out and trying out and seeing how far you can all get. However, as mentioned on the previous part of the video, my fastest lap for this session was a 37.615, and that was on the 4th lap of the session out of 21 that I completed, and that was due to slowing down at the end. I would have had an additional lap in there, but I did slow down at some point in the session, which you will see later. I was being quite consistent when I was on my own. I was getting around a 37.8, 37.7 and 37.6, but then as soon as I hit traffic, the times completely spiked back up to a 38, and this was due to trying to overtake, trying to find gaps and trying to push myself. But unfortunately on this session I really couldn't find the groove as I have been on a Thursday night, where the lines are a little bit more slick and it's a bit easier to get around, especially, as I've said many times before, following a car in front of me that is quick, just following the lines and really focusing on the way they're driving. And you can see there on that big right hander, really flicking my hands left and right, not having as much control as I had in previous weeks, and it really was difficult to actually find the grip on the track and really put the power down correctly. And you can see here ahead there's a group of about 3 or 4 karts, and I'm really trying to keep up to them and catch up and hopefully overtake all of them. But for the time being I really was enjoying getting a high 37 mark, 37.9 now on the previous lap, and just trying to get into the groove of the session. As I said, this was the 2nd session out of 3, and this really was, as you can see, the person in front of me going all over the place. I really wanted to get past them as quickly as possible. I went for a move on the right, but I thought I'd duck out in case of an accident, and really was stuck down here and almost T-boning them, but luckily managing to hit the brakes. I did get a big shot in the back. As a shake from my head there, I really got slammed into the back there. My neck was a little bit sore the next day after that hit, but it was okay. We moved on and looking to catch the other karts that were forming a bit of a gaggle, a bit of a train ahead, and this is where the lap times really started to dwindle. And it was fun though, trying to get past the drivers. As I've said before, I really do at the moment want to practice overtaking a bit more, and that's why I do join the 2nd session, or the 2nd session of the evening when I come down to Monday night socials, because there is a bit more overtaking in this. There's a few more drivers that are a little bit slower, maybe need a little bit more practice, and this helped me to just try and overtake a few more. And you can see here up the ramp, my favourite overtaking spot, but instead I got overtaken on the inside, and I tried to come back at them, but I thought better of it, and I thought maybe I should stick behind them and see what kind of times the driver ahead in the number 8 kart could get. And to my surprise, they actually do start to pull away after a few laps, and I really was impressed with them, because I know they have been a bit slower in previous weeks and they were really managing to speed up, which was really good for them. And I believe they got one of the fastest times in the session for the evening in this session. But here, just tagging along behind them, trying to get some good exits, some good lines. Obviously they are a smaller driver, so they're getting a better acceleration at the ramp, which is something that I have been told about. Trying to get more dive bombs going into that bottom hairpin rather than waiting to try and overtake at the top of the ramp. Try and overtake at the bottom and put the driver off ahead, but obviously this is a non-competitive event, and therefore you are just going for lap times rather than just shooting for overtakes. And they're once again being stuck down the driver with a 38.3, which was obviously detriment to the amount of karts that I had to overtake in a short space of time. But really I was trying to tag along behind the number 8 driver and hopefully looking to overtake them again, as I did overtake them earlier in the session. But as you'll see, they just do start to pull away and gain time on me, and I really wasn't able to catch up. I was catching up in the corners quite a lot, but on the straights they really were just motoring away, and it was really difficult for me to try and gain the correct lines to really minimise the amount of time between us. And here, once more, as we cross the line with a 37.8, clearly the driver ahead is putting in some quick times, as these are the sort of times that I was able to get when I was going around by myself, and now there was a quick driver in front of me. I really was looking to just tag along behind them and get some faster lap times. And here you can see up the ramp, really they were just jetting away from me, and it was difficult to try and keep up. I was trying to take a tighter line into that top corner just after the ramp to try and minimise the track and gain as much time as I could. Also the same through the hairpins, but straight down the ramp you can see such a burst of acceleration as someone dips off into the pits there, and we come around the big right hander, really gaining time on the driver ahead, but once again they just pull away, and there we get 37.660, which is in fact really close to my fastest lap of the session. And there I did think that the flow was coming and we were getting some faster lap times. I really thought that we were going to get a faster lap towards the end of the session, but as you'll see we do come up behind some more traffic and the driver in front of us here, and As you can see, running a little bit wide and clipping the wall. I wasn't too happy with that. I was trying to make sure that I could try and take the same sort of lines that I was on Thursday night, trying to take a bit of a tighter line on practice, getting a fast line through there, whilst also just maximising as much speed as possible. We can see there 37.773, but the driver ahead's pulled away, so they've definitely gained a few tenths on me through that last lap, and here gained a lot of time in the bottom section. Obviously I'm a little bit heavier, so it was easier to stay grounded through the corners, and I believe that the next few laps we really did get stuck behind the driver that was ahead of us, and this did cause a few slower laps, but here really trying to stay tight, almost touching distance to the driver ahead, and you can see both of them twitching, and the driver ahead really going slow around this bottom corner, and I came in really hot there, and I almost took back the driver out, and I thought to myself here, just looking behind, just try and make a bit of a gap. So I was getting, as I've said, faster laps by myself, so I was looking to just slow down, try and gain a bit of space, a bit of my own space, and try and get some faster laps in. But what I didn't realise is obviously this was near the end of the session now, as this was around lap 18 or 19, and there was only a few minutes left in the session, so I was trying to get around quite quickly whilst also maintaining as big a gap as I could, as the two drivers ahead were going rather slowly, but we will skip ahead up until the next lap. And here we are once more. As you can see, from going a bit slow, we have got a 42.652, which I have not got a lap like that in a very long time, unless there was a yellow flag. And I thought by slowing down, really focusing on the corners and trying to nail my apexes, that I would get a better lap time, much akin to the kind of laps I was at the beginning of the session when I got my fastest lap. However, as I said, I didn't realise that there was only a few laps left, and they're just going in way too hot and hitting the wall, and that really did stump my confidence a bit, and it meant that I went a little bit slower out of the double hairpin there, and that meant that the lap in total was just a little bit slower. I was really getting to grips with that. You see, just lifted my head back. I was really getting to grips with that last corner, the big right-hander, just realising just to really smoothly apply the brake throughout the whole corner, and it really helped to stabilise the car instead of what I was doing previously, which is sort of either shuffling between the two pedals or even just lifting off and just trusting the car to turn in. I really found that by slowing the car down a lot more, it meant that I had a lot more control in comparison to just sort of sliding around, especially when there was little grip on colder days. It really was helping, and here's another example, just sort of just only using the brake there and just taking my foot off, putting it back on, and then taking it off once more and applying the throttle in the correct place. And you can see there already down to 37.8 once again, so much like the other laps previously in the session, it was a lot quicker compared to being about a second slower when I was behind other karts. And here, just trying to get as wide as possible on the exit, trying to maximise my acceleration coming out of the corner after sliding in to the hairpin, and then once more just taking a nice clean line round the top bend into the double hairpin, and trying to stay as tight as possible to these barriers without actually hitting them, as hitting the barriers does in fact lose you time as you lose momentum. And once more just getting a nice clean exit out of the big right hander, and we crossed the line there with a 37.990, which was in fact the last lap of the session. This of course does bring us to the end of the session, and I would like to say a massive thank you if you have watched this far, and subscribe for more in the future, and hit like if you enjoyed. Drop a comment down below too if you are interested in BIKC. I'll try to answer as many as I can. There will be a little break on videos, as I'll miss out the next Monday Night Social since I am away on holiday for the next week. But as I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.